And indeed, we see the trajectory being aligned with the plane of the planets around the sun. The chance of that happening at random is 0.2%.
The first alarm didn't come from a telescope glitch. It came from chemistry, raw, undeniable, and terrifying. The moment scientists saw methanol erupting from 3I Atlas in concentrated bursts, the entire mood inside Mission Control changed. Screens that moments ago displayed routine spectra now glowed with readings no one had ever seen from an interstellar visitor. Conversations dropped mid-sentence. Analysts froze. Experts who had tracked comets for decades suddenly fell out of their depth. Something was wrong, very wrong. This wasn't ordinary comet material. Methanol is one of the core ingredients for life itself, a molecule that helps build amino acids, proteins, DNA, RNA, the architecture of biology. For it to appear in such violent targeted eruptions from an object traveling between star systems sent a chill through every lab following the data. And then came the second shock. 3I Atlas wasn't just releasing methanol. It was releasing too much of it. The ratio of methanol to hydrogen cyanide broke every model ever tested. Comets are chaotic mixtures of frozen compounds, not neatly arranged chemical packages. Yet 3I Atlas showed a composition so unbalanced, so unnaturally orderly, that several researchers whispered the word no one wanted to say out loud: prepared. As if the object didn't form randomly, but was assembled or curated for a purpose. Theories spun out of control. What if this object wasn't just drifting through space? What if it was carrying something, transporting something, seeding something? Suddenly, the question changed from what is it made of to why is it made this way? And then to something far more disturbing: who or what wanted it this way? Scientists recalibrated instruments at record speed, desperate to capture every new spike of outgassing before 3I Atlas sped past their sensors forever. Each updated reading only deepened the crisis. The methanol pulses weren't random. They were rhythmic, structured, almost timed. And the object's activity kept rising, as though it were responding to something inside the solar system, or preparing for the next phase of a process no one yet understood. The fear settled in quietly but deeply. This wasn't a comet behaving strangely. This was an object broadcasting intention. Every lab, every observatory, every monitoring team felt the clock ticking down. Whatever 3I Atlas was, it was more than frozen rock and dust. It carried chemistry capable of rewriting Earth's origin story, or exposing the blueprint of a different one entirely. And as the next stream of methanol surged outward, brighter and more concentrated than the last, scientists realized they were watching the beginning of something unprecedented, something that was only getting stronger. And then the object changed again, forcing scientists into a new wave of panic as it began its approach toward the sun. It begins with a jolt across every monitoring screen on Earth. As 3I Atlas inches closer to the sun, the instruments trained on it explode with irregular flickers, violent flashes, chemical spikes, and unpredictable pulses that defy every known model. Analysts watching the live feed freeze. These aren't random comet flares. They're too sharp, too timed, too precise. Within minutes, methanol readings begin surging at impossible intervals. Not gradual rises, not chaotic bursts. Perfectly spaced spikes, as if following a rhythm no natural object should have. It acts like the sun's heat is activating something inside it. Yet the timing is so exact it feels almost scripted. The fear inside NASA's monitoring rooms becomes obvious. If they miss even a few seconds of this event, they may never understand what's happening. Worse, 3I Atlas starts changing speed. Not with smooth acceleration or deceleration, but with sudden jerks, lunges, like it's reacting to solar radiation rather than being physically pushed by it. The flight path doesn't look random anymore. It looks responsive, intentional. Communication channels between observatories melt into chaos. Data packets slam in at such speed that algorithms cannot keep up. One reading contradicts the next. Maps redraw themselves in real time. Some telescopes report the object dimming while others, simultaneously, show it exploding with brightness. No one can establish a stable baseline. Scientists begin saying what no one wants to hear. It's behaving like it has internal rules we don't understand. Then the chemical outbursts shift again. They no longer look like outgassing. They look like transmissions, short bursts, long bursts, clustered pulses, almost like coded shedding events. The idea horrifies the researchers tracking them. This doesn't feel like a comet releasing trapped gases. It feels like an object communicating. Observers whisper the same unsettling phrase, "It looks alive." The closer 3I Atlas gets to the sun, the more structured its behavior becomes. Emissions tighten into patterns. Brightness rises on exact intervals. Pulses echo in sequences that seem too organized to be thermal reactions. Panic rises not just because the object is changing, but because it's changing in a way that suggests activation. Theories multiply with terrifying speed. Some teams propose internal reservoirs opening in sequence. Others speculate chambers, engineered or naturally stable, designed to release specific molecular blends only under certain solar conditions. A few even suggest the possibility of unknown chemistry triggered by energy thresholds the sun provides. No theory fully explains what they're seeing, and that's what scares them most. Perihelion, once an exciting date on the calendar, now feels like a countdown to an event no one can predict. The world scientific community holds its breath as the object races toward its closest point to the sun. Every pulse grows stronger. Every emission grows stranger. Every second looks like a prelude to something bigger. And the unspoken fear crawls across every control room. If it's this active now, what happens on the other side of the sun? The final numbers flash on the screens. The countdown hits its last stretch. Perihelion is seconds away. And 3I Atlas is about to change again, but no one knows into what. The alarms start before anyone understands why. A new data set hits NASA's servers, and within seconds, analysts freeze because the methanol to HCN ratio inside 3I Atlas is not just unusual, it is impossible. Not unlikely, not extreme, impossible. The kind of ratio no natural comet has ever shown, even in the wildest corners of the galaxy. It is too clean, too selective, too precise, as if someone filtered the chemistry before sending it into space. Researchers huddle around monitors in disbelief. For decades, comets have been chaotic chemical messes, frozen archives of randomness. But 3I Atlas is different. Its molecular hierarchy rises in structured layers, almost like steps in a recipe. Each chemical surge appears in periodic timed pulses instead of random outbursts. When the spectral software runs pattern recognition, it doesn't return noise, it returns order. A quiet panic starts spreading through the research teams. If this chemistry is curated, who curated it? Some scientists whisper the thought they are afraid to say out loud. This looks engineered. The spectral lines repeat in cycles, small pulses, large pulses, then silence. Then the sequence repeats again, almost like a molecular heartbeat. Planetary chemists begin cross-referencing the data with every known star-forming region, every protostellar cloud, every exotic environment cataloged by humanity. Nothing matches. Not a single cluster, nebula, or comet family shares even a fraction of this signature. It resembles nothing Earth's telescopes have ever seen in the Milky Way. That leaves only two terrifying possibilities. Either 3I Atlas formed in a place with stable, controlled conditions unlike anything known, or someone prepared it. The weight of that implication hits mission control like a shock wave. This isn't just an interstellar visitor anymore, it is a messenger, carrying a molecular blueprint from a system that should not exist, crafted with intentions nobody can decipher. More data pours in, each file more unsettling than the last. The chemical pulses fall into sequences, almost coded. The internal composition hints at pockets or reservoirs arranged with eerie precision. Every discovery crushes the idea that this is natural. Scientists begin asking the question no one ever expected to face in their lifetime: who or what designed this? And as the next dataset prepares to download, everyone watching feels the pressure rise, because whatever the next reading shows, it could rewrite everything they thought they understood about life, intelligence, and the universe itself. The moment 3I Atlas slingshots around the sun, every scientist expects the chaos to fade. Instead, the danger begins. The emissions that once looked random now sharpen into patterns, clean, steady, almost deliberate. Methanol bursts that used to erupt like cosmic accidents suddenly align into tight, rhythmic pulses, as if the object is reorganizing itself after surviving the sun's heat. In mission control, the shift is instant. This isn't cooling down, it's becoming structured. Then the second shock hits. New chemical strands, faint, eerie, and impossibly organized, start appearing in the spectrographs. They are not the chaotic debris of a melting comet. They look like steps in a sequence, fragments of a recipe picking up exactly where the first phase left off. Chemists stare at their monitors, whispering the same question. Why does it look like this thing has stages? Across global observatories, analysts notice something even stranger. The emissions rise not randomly, not under heat pressure, but precisely when 3I Atlas increases its angular distance from the sun, as if the object is waiting for the sun to be behind it before releasing something new. Researchers describe it in one chilling phrase: it's shedding instructions. Molecular packets drift away from the object in soft, structured trails, like distribution, not decay. Fear spreads fast. Emergency post-perihelion tracking campaigns activate overnight. The biggest concern isn't what 3I Atlas is doing, but what it may be leaving behind. Earth's orbit will intersect part of the object's projected wake. And no one can say whether these strands are harmless debris or catalytic triggers capable of reacting with the upper atmosphere. Internal NASA memos warn that the chemical signatures are reactive under unknown conditions. And then the pulses change again. The rhythm tightens. The intervals shrink. What started as distant, spaced emissions becomes a rapid, accelerating cadence, like a countdown speeding up. Scientists stop calling this activity. They start calling it a process, one whose final step they might be approaching without knowing what it means. Every telescope on Earth capable of tracking 3I Atlas is ordered to lock on. The object is now behaving too coherently, too intelligently, too purposefully to dismiss as a comet. What was once exploration now feels like containment. An attempt to understand something before it completes whatever stage comes next. Around the world, people wait in a rising electric tension. The next emission event could mean progress or warning, life or threat. No one knows what the object is preparing to release next, and just as the newest readings stabilize, an even stranger anomaly appears, one that launches the scientific world straight into the next, more terrifying chapter. The shock breaks first on a live stream. Dr. Avi Loeb steps forward, eyes steady, voice calm, and drops a statement that detonates across the scientific world like a pressure wave. 3I Atlas might not be random. It might be distributing life. Within minutes, the message spirals across mission centers. Analysts freeze mid-calculation. Telescopes reroute. Politicians call emergency briefings, because if Loeb is right, this isn't just an object passing through the solar system, it's performing a task. Loeb explains the chemical imbalance again, the bizarre overload of methanol, the unnatural ratios, the suspicious timing of chemical pulses. He doesn't soften the implication. He says the pattern looks like intention, almost like someone or something scattered life's ingredients across worlds the way a gardener scatters seeds across a field, and the internet erupts instantly. The friendly interstellar gardener becomes the phrase of the hour, flooding X, Reddit, TikTok. Some cheer the idea of cosmic generosity, a universe that plants life instead of destroying it. But others panic because a gardener doesn't just grow life. It prunes, it replaces, it overwrites. A darker question spreads through scientific circles. If this object can seed life, what stops it from reshaping worlds already alive? Inside closed-door meetings, researchers revisit Earth's own chemical history. They whisper the unthinkable. What if this isn't the first visitor of this type? What if Earth itself was once seeded by something just like 3-1 Atlas? Suddenly, humanity feels smaller, less original, more dependent on forces it never knew existed. The fear sharpens when chemists warn that if the object is engineered, then every burst, every spike, every molecule released in space could be part of a deliberate sequence, not random outgassing, not comet noise, instructions. Meanwhile, labs scramble to answer a terrifying question. Could methanol-based spores survive atmospheric entry? Simulations show mixed results, but some models suggest yes. And if even one survives, what happens when it reaches Earth? The scientific world fractures overnight. Half believe Loeb's vision of a benevolent cosmic gardener. The other half see something far more dangerous, a system that spreads life without permission, without warning, and without caring who was here first. Hope battles dread on every screen, in every control room, in every late-night emergency meeting. Because if 3i Atlas carries intention, friendly or not, then humanity is no longer observing the universe. It's being observed. And just as these debates hit their peak, a new alert flashes from the tracking network, a chemical burst unlike anything seen before, a burst that forces everyone to stop arguing and start fearing what comes next. The countdown has begun. Scientists now realize they have only weeks, maybe less, before 3i Atlas slips back into interstellar darkness forever. The urgency inside mission control is explosive. Every hour, the object becomes harder to study and far more terrifying to understand. Its behavior shifts rapidly. Chemical signatures spike in ways no simulation can predict. Emission lines sharpen, then scatter, then return with new patterns, as if the object is rewriting its own chemistry in real time. Even its trajectory twists by fractions no gravitational model accounts for. To observers, it feels less like a comet and more like a system running through the final steps of a process no one recognizes. Agencies start whispering the fear they've avoided saying aloud. What if they are witnessing something mid-activation? Something that only turns on during a star pass and shuts down once the mission is complete. But the fear becomes real when tracking teams detect something they can't explain. A faint, thin chemical tail peeling off 3i Atlas and slowly aligning with Earth's future orbital path. Not random, not drifting, following a line. And suddenly, every worst-case scenario floods the room. Is the object shedding dust? Complex molecules? Encoded chemistry? Biological triggers waiting for sunlight, heat, or atmosphere to wake them? No one knows. No one can confirm anything until Earth physically moves through that trail. And once it does, whatever is inside it, natural or engineered, will fall straight into our air, our oceans, our ecosystems. Some scientists argue it could be harmless panspermia. Others warn it could be an overwrite. New chemistry designed to replace what already exists. A few whisper the most chilling idea yet. What if this is a delivery mechanism, a one-way seed drop, a silent rewrite? Every expert agrees on only one thing: humanity has no control anymore. And as 3I Atlas accelerates into the black, shrinking into a fading spark on the edge of every telescope, it leaves the world with a single, unbearable question, one that no model, no probe, no mission can answer in time. What exactly did it leave behind? And what happens when Earth finally touches it? And with the object slipping out of reach, the next phase begins, one far more dangerous than the last.